If you're watching this, you've already made the same mistake I did. That's not me being dramatic. It's the truth. Because somewhere out there, tucked between the billions of harmless videos and endless playlists, there's one that should never be clicked. A video that doesn't just disappear from your history when you're done watching it. It erases itself, as if it never existed. I know how that sounds. I used to laugh at stories like this. Haunted games, cursed episodes, creepypastas meant to spook people who were already awake too late at night. I was one of those cynics who thought the internet was all smoke and mirrors, a giant funhouse of fake horror stories. But there's a difference between reading about something and experiencing it yourself. The rumor comes up in the strangest places. Old Reddit threads with no replies. Abandoned forums where half the links are dead. Discord servers that vanish the day after someone mentions it. The details change. Some people say the thumbnail is a static blur. Others swear it looks like their own reflection. But the core story is always the same. Once you watch, the video deletes itself. Not from YouTube servers, not from the internet at large, just from you. From your memory, your history, your proof that it was ever real. If you think that sounds impossible, then you're exactly where I was before it happened to me. I had no reason to believe any of it. I scrolled past the claims, dismissed the do not watch titles as bait, and told myself there was nothing on YouTube that could reach out through the screen and touch me. And yet, here I am, telling you this. You're probably wondering how I found it. I'll get there. But before I do, I need you to understand something. I'm not sharing this for fun. This isn't one of those videos that wraps up with a spooky twist and a cheeky smile. I'm telling you because the worst mistake you can make is going out there and searching for it. You'll want to, I know. Human curiosity is a disease, and the internet has trained us to click first and regret later. Don't. Because the moment you see it, even once, it's already too late. I shouldn't have clicked play. But I did. Most nights, my routine was boring. Comfortably boring. I'd get home, drop my bag by the door, heat up whatever leftovers were in the fridge, and collapse onto the couch with my laptop balanced on my knees. YouTube had become my white noise machine, endless playlists of commentary videos, conspiracy rabbit holes, and the occasional true crime docuseries that stretched past midnight. It was a ritual I didn't even think about anymore. The glow of the screen, the low hum of my old laptop fan, the rhythm of autoplay guiding me from one pointless video to the next. I wasn't searching for meaning, just distraction. Anything to drown out the silence of my apartment. And like most people who live online, I had my guilty pleasures. Bad, top 10 scary videos you shouldn't watch compilations. Creepy story narrations with stock footage and spooky background music. I'd roll my eyes at how fake the evidence looked, how overproduced the scares were. It was easy to treat it all like a joke. Horror is safer when you can pause it, click away, or laugh at the guy with the flashlight screaming at shadows. I had a friend, Eli, who shared the habit. We'd DM memes back and forth on Discord while half watching whatever garbage autoplay served up. He was the type who lived for creepypastas. I can still remember one chat that night. Eli, you ever hear about those haunted vids? Ones that mess with you IRL. Me. Haunted? Like what, The Ring but on 480p? Eli, exactly like that, except creepier. Stuff you won't find again after you click it. Me, sure, and I've got Bigfoot in my recommended. Eli, I'm serious. People disappear after watching. Their posts just stop. I sent him a laughing emoji, and he dropped the subject. But that conversation stuck in the back of my head longer than I wanted to admit. Because here's the thing. Nothing about that night should have been different. Started like every other one. A half-empty energy drink sweating on the desk beside me. A playlist of random commentary videos in the background. The kind of content that fills the room without demanding attention. My cynicism was intact. My routine undisturbed. But something was different. I noticed it in the sidebar. You know how YouTube suggestions usually follow whatever you've been watching? More of the same creators, algorithm-friendly stuff you can't resist? That night, buried between gaming clips and reaction videos, there was a thumbnail that didn't belong. At first, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. The thumbnail looked wrong. Blurry, but not in a normal way. It reminded me of those old VHS tapes where the tracking went bad, static bending the picture into something almost alive. For a split second, I thought I saw movement in it, like the image was shifting just enough to catch the corner of your vision. No title I could read. Just a mess of broken characters, half symbols, half static. It didn't look like anything I'd ever seen uploaded on YouTube. And the strangest part? It was sitting there with a cheerful little caption. Recommended for you. I stared at it longer than I should have, feeling that tug of curiosity I always swore I didn't believe in. That's when I messaged Eli again. You'll laugh. I think I just found one of your haunted vids. Eli, screenshot or it didn't happen. I went to grab one, but when I refreshed the page it was gone. No trace, no thumbnail, nothing. For a moment, I wondered if I'd imagined it. Too many hours staring at a glowing screen. Too much caffeine buzzing through my system. But deep down I knew I hadn't. I hadn't even wanted to find it. But it had found me. And a minute later it came back. Right there in the sidebar, waiting. That was the first time I saw the mysterious thumbnail. The thumbnail shouldn't have unsettled me as much as it did. It was just an image, pixels arranged on a screen, but it felt wrong in a way that's hard to describe. Blurry, unfocused, like someone had taken a photo of something moving too fast, except the blur itself seemed alive. My eyes kept trying to correct it, to sharpen the edges, but the harder I stared, the less sense it made. Sometimes it looked like static, sometimes like a face, and sometimes like both at once. The colors bled in strange ways. Reds too deep, shadows too heavy, like the kind of corrupted image files you'd find on old forums. My gut told me to scroll past it, but my hand hovered on the mouse. Frozen. The title wasn't any better. A mess of broken characters, half symbols I didn't recognize, half gibberish that looked like someone had smashed their keyboard. But every time I blinked, I could swear the letters rearranged themselves. At first it was nonsense. Then fragments of English. Then, God, I know how this sounds. I swear it spelled my name. Not once. Not clearly. But enough that the hairs on the back of my neck stood straight. I thought of Eli, of our conversation earlier that night. His haunted videos. His warnings. I wanted to screenshot it this time to prove to him and to myself that it was real. My cursor drifted up toward the thumbnail. But before I clicked, I refreshed the page just to make sure. And it vanished. Gone. Like it had never been there. My sidebar reset, filled again with the usual garbage, gameplay highlights, conspiracy theories, reaction channels. I scrolled down, searching, but the strange thumbnail had disappeared completely. My heart was racing. Over what? Just a video suggestion? Still, I couldn't shake it. It felt personal, targeted, like the algorithm had reached into something deeper than my watch history. I sat back, rubbing my eyes, telling myself to close the laptop and sleep. But when I looked again, there it was. Same place, same broken title, same almost alive blur. Waiting. The rational part of me screamed not to touch it, to walk away. But another part, the same part that clicks on late-night horror playlists knowing they'll leave me uneasy, was louder. What if it really was one of those cursed videos Eli joked about? What if I had stumbled onto something no one else had? My finger hovered over the trackpad, trembling. You have to understand, I didn't want to. Not really. But curiosity is stronger than fear. And in that moment, the need to know outweighed everything else. So I clicked. The title flickered once more, characters rearranging in an instant too fast to catch. But I saw it. Just for a heartbeat. Spelled my name. And then the screen went black, the player loading. I had pressed play. First, nothing happened. The screen went black, and I thought maybe the link was broken, or maybe YouTube had already taken it down. Then the player twitched, literally twitched like the screen itself had spasmed, and static bloomed across the display. It wasn't the kind of static you get from bad internet. This was grainy, analog snow, thick enough that I almost smelled dust and burning wires, like I was watching on some forgotten TV instead of a laptop. A sharp hiss filled the room, and I had to lower the volume before it drilled into my skull. I almost clicked away. Almost. But then the static shifted, forming shapes. The first image was so mundane that I laughed nervously. It was a park bench. Just a plain bench under a streetlight, filmed from too far away to notice anything strange. The video wavered, jumped, and then the bench was empty. Another flicker, and now a shadow sat there. A long, stretched shadow without a body to cast it. I muttered, "No way, it just did that," and leaned closer to the screen. The bench cut away to a room. My room. Not exactly, little things were off. The posters on my wall weren't mine. The desk had things on it I didn't own. But the layout, the bed, the cracked paint in the corner, it was my room. I froze. The camera angle was from the corner of the ceiling, like a security camera. I actually glanced upward in my own room before realizing there was nothing there. Nothing except the faint reflection of myself in the laptop screen, pale and wide-eyed. The video jumped again, faster now. Images flashed too quickly to process. A forest at night, headlights in a tunnel, a child's drawing that melted into static before I could see it clearly. My stomach tightened. There was a rhythm to the cuts, like the video was building toward something. And then came the whispers. At first, I thought it was the static. But beneath the hiss, a voice was forming. Not one voice, many, overlapping. Low and urgent, layered over each other like a chorus of secrets. I leaned in, straining to catch the words. "You shouldn't. Don't watch. It's too late." I slammed the volume up again, desperate to make sense of it. My name hissed out between the voices. Not clearly, not loud, but enough that my blood went cold. I whispered back, "No, no, no, no." My own voice sounded alien in the silence of my room. The images grew stranger, more personal. Streets I recognized from my hometown. The grocery store I used to walk past as a kid. The narrow hallway of my high school. Places I hadn't thought about in years, dragged from memory and stitched into the static. I can't describe everything I saw after that. Not because I don't want to, but because I can't. Words don't capture it. It was like the video had reached inside me, rifling through half-forgotten dreams and memories I never knew I kept. I felt naked, exposed, like someone was peeling me apart one frame at a time. I remember fragments. A face pressed too close to the camera, its eyes smeared into black pits. A hand writing something on a fogged window, letters that disappeared before I could read them. My childhood bedroom door creaking open on its own. And then my apartment. My actual apartment this time. The camera was in my hallway, shaky and handheld, walking toward my door. My door. The same peeling number, the same dent near the knob. I glanced over my shoulder like an idiot, half expecting to see someone there. But of course the hallway was empty. Still, I couldn't breathe. The video reached my door and stopped. The frame froze, glitching as if it couldn't decide whether to knock. The whispers surged louder, frantic, overlapping into shrieks of static. I wanted to click away, to slam the laptop shut, but I couldn't move. And then the door opened. The camera stepped inside. My apartment came into view, exactly as it was. Messy desk, half-empty drink on the counter. The light above the stove flickering the way it always did. The camera panned slowly, deliberately, toward the couch. And there I was, me, sitting there, watching the screen. I choked on a breath. For a split second, I thought it was just a trick, a pre-recorded clip. But the me in the video moved when I moved, tilted my head when I did, even raised a trembling hand to my mouth, perfectly in sync. My voice cracked out loud, "Oh God, no, that's me." The screen spasmed, the static collapsing inward like the video was devouring itself. My laptop whined, the fan shrieking as if it were being overworked. I scrambled for the trackpad, desperate to rewind, to pause, to do something. But the second I touched it, the video blinked out. Not paused, not stopped, deleted. No watch history, no record, nothing, like it had never been there at all. The silence after the video vanished was deafening. My laptop screen blinked back to YouTube's bland white background, cheerful thumbnails of normal content filling the void like nothing had happened. No recommended for you horror, no corrupted thumbnail, nothing. I clicked the back button. Nothing. Refresh. Nothing. History. Nothing. My watch history had skipped a beat, jumping clean from the commentary video I'd seen before to the next autoplay suggestion. Like the cursed clip had been erased mid-timeline. It didn't exist. It never had. I sat there, breathing hard, my reflection staring back from the empty screen. My mouth was dry. My hands shook as I opened another tab, searched keywords, tried fragments of the gibberish title I thought I'd seen. Dead end after dead end. It was like typing into a void. I even tried screenshots, thinking maybe I'd saved one by mistake. My folders were clean. Too clean. Like something had scrubbed them while I was watching. For a long time I just sat there, the blue glow of the laptop casting long shadows in my apartment. Every hum of the fridge, every creak in the pipes made me twitch. My rational brain kept whispering, it was just a video, just some messed up ARG. You imagined the rest. But the problem was, I couldn't shake the feeling that I hadn't imagined it, that I had actually seen myself on screen. Eventually I shut the laptop and tried to return to normal life. I microwaved leftover pasta, left it half-eaten on the counter. I put on a podcast to fill the silence, but the voices sounded warped, like the static had followed me into the audio. I turned on the TV instead, but the channels glitched once or twice, freezing on distorted frames before correcting themselves. When I finally crawled into bed, I couldn't sleep. My apartment felt wrong. The shadows stretched too far into the corners. Every time I shut my eyes, I heard whispers, muffled, indecipherable, like the ones under the static. At one point, I swore I heard my name, just a hiss in the dark. The next day, I told myself I'd laugh it off. I logged back into Discord and told Eli about it. Me, hey, you'll love this. Found your haunted video. Eli, oh well sure. Did Slender Man crawl out of it? Me, I'm serious. It deleted itself. Totally gone. You ever heard of one that does that? Eli, nope. If it vanished, you were probably just tired. YouTube glitches all the time. I wanted to argue, but I didn't, because maybe he was right. Maybe it had just been a bad upload, a broken file. Except his casual dismissal left me feeling more alone with it. By evening, I was back in front of the laptop again, scrolling through my recommended feed like an addict looking for a fix. But it didn't show. Not once. It was gone. And yet, something lingered. My system lagged in strange ways, folders opening half a beat slower, audio files popping with static when I played them. My desktop background flickered once, just once, too fast to catch. I told myself it was nothing. Bugs. Glitches. But my gut said otherwise. There's something I haven't told you about the ending of the video. I wasn't ready before, and maybe I'm still not. But I need to admit it. Right before the screen collapsed, before it devoured itself, I thought I saw, no, not yet. If I put it into words too soon, it might make it real again. Instead, I'll tell you what happened next. Because the strangest part wasn't the video itself. It was what it left behind. Later that night, when I reopened my laptop, I noticed something off. A folder sitting at the edge of my desktop. I hadn't put it there. It wasn't there earlier. The name was just a string of numbers. Timestamp, maybe, but when I opened it, the breath caught in my throat. Inside were files. Dozens of them. Corrupted images, broken video clips, text documents filled with nonsense symbols. I scrolled through in horror, my stomach twisting, because hidden in the chaos, in the middle of the corrupted mess, I recognized something. Picture of my apartment, taken from the corner of the ceiling. At first, I thought maybe it was malware, a virus planted by some troll to freak me out. But the longer I stared at that folder, the more I realized it wasn't random. It was deliberate. The name of the folder, those numbers, looked like a timestamp. At first I thought it might be the date, but when I checked, the sequence didn't match today. No, it matched the exact time I'd clicked play on that cursed video. Down to the second. My stomach sank. I opened the first file. It was an image. Corrupted, grainy, streaked with digital scars like someone had dragged claws across the pixels. But beneath the distortion, I recognized the subject immediately. It was my desk, my laptop, my coffee mug sitting beside it, The ring of condensation exactly where I'd left it. Taken from an angle I didn't have. Higher up, like from the corner of the ceiling. I slammed the laptop shut so hard it rattled the table. My heart was pounding, my breath shallow, but curiosity ate at me like acid. After a minute of pacing the room, I forced myself to open it again. More files. A handful of short video clips, each no longer than 5 seconds. Most were static. But every so often, the static cleared just enough to show something. A sliver of my reflection, a flash of my apartment hallway, a frame that looked like my bedroom door. One clip made me freeze. It was only 3 seconds long. The first 2 seconds were nothing but digital snow. Then, just before it cut off, a face appeared. Blurred, unrecognizable, but leaning close, far too close, like the lens was just inches away. I deleted it instantly, or I tried, but when I dragged the file to the trash, my computer froze. Screen flicker, fan screaming. Then, when it unfroze, the file was still there, waiting. That's when I realized. These weren't just leftovers from the video. They were growing, multiplying. Each time I checked, there were more files than before. I opened one of the text documents. At first it was gibberish, rows of symbols, corrupted characters. But then, buried in the mess, I saw words. Real words. My words. They were snippets of my search history. Exact queries I'd typed into Google weeks ago. Cheap apartments downtown. How to fix a cracked phone screen. What does it mean when you can't sleep at night? The longer I scrolled, the closer the entries got to the present moment. Until the very last line read, "What happens if you watch a YouTube video that deletes itself?" I hadn't typed that. Not yet. I snapped the laptop shut again, nearly knocking it off the desk. My skin crawled. My pulse thundered in my ears. For the rest of the night, I avoided it. I tried to lose myself in anything else. Scrolling my phone, blasting music, calling Eli just to hear a familiar voice. But even Eli couldn't shake the feeling from me. You ever hear of a video leaving files behind? Eli, dude, that's just a virus. Wipe your drive. Or stop watching creepypasta at 3 a.m. It's not just a virus. They're pictures. Of me. My apartment. Eli, then you've been hacked. Someone's screwing with you. Maybe. But I didn't believe it. Not really. Because when hackers mess with you, they don't leave breadcrumbs in broken code that feels too intentional. The next day I gave in. I opened the folder again. It had doubled. Dozens, maybe hundreds of files. A text log labeled with my IP address. An audio file that played only whispers, distorted but almost forming words. And another image, this one a still of my computer screen, showing my cursor hovering over the folder itself. That was when I noticed the pattern. Each image, each clip wasn't random. They were documenting me, watching me watch them. Paranoia settled into my bones. I unplugged my webcam, taped over the mic, but still the files multiplied. In a haze of fear and insomnia, I started digging online, searching deep into forums, old threads, places where rumor and reality blurred. And I wasn't the only one. Buried in forgotten posts, I found fragments. Stories from people describing the same thing. A video that deletes itself. A folder left behind. Files that won't go away. One user wrote, "It watched me back. I can't delete it. Every time I try, more appear." Another. The last file was a picture of me sleeping. None of the usernames were active anymore. Their accounts ended with the same chilling pattern. Last login the day they posted, then silence. Some replies joked about it being an ARG. But one reply stuck with me. A single line left by an anonymous account. "Don't dig deeper. They'll notice." I should have listened. But obsession has teeth. It gnawed at me until I couldn't stop. I had to know if my case was part of the same pattern, if there were rules, if there was a way out. I kept searching, late into the night, until my vision blurred and my head throbbed. That's when I found a hidden thread, locked, archived, barely readable through cache data. In it, someone claimed they had traced the files. Not just images or text, but coordinates, buried in metadata. Places tied to the viewers. Places where, supposedly, those viewers had vanished. I read every word, heart hammering, skin clammy. The thread ended abruptly with the same warning I'd read before. Don't dig deeper. And yet, my hands were already moving back to the folder. Back to the corrupted files that felt like they were waiting for me. I knew I shouldn't, but I opened another. I wish I could say I stopped, that I shut the folder, walked away, and let the memory rot like some bad dream. But if you've made it this far, you already know I didn't. The files weren't enough. I needed context, answers, proof that I wasn't losing my mind. So I started digging. Not on the surface web, you won't find it there. No, this was deeper. Old message boards, abandoned blogs, half-dead forums where threads hadn't been touched in years. The kind of corners of the internet that smell like mildew and static. At first, it was nothing but whispers. Posts asking the same question I was asking. Anyone else see the video that deletes itself? Replies were always the same: jokes, memes, dismissals. Until you scrolled further down. That's where it got darker. People talking about corrupted files. About whispers in the static. About seeing their own faces reflected back at them. And then silence. Threads that ended abruptly, like the conversation had been cut off mid-sentence. Users who never logged in again. One board had an entire section locked behind a dead admin account. But the cached version showed fragments of what used to be there. Don't open the files. They're not just files. If it shows you yourself, it's already too late. Every time you look, it looks back harder. I couldn't tell if these were warnings or rules. Maybe both. I pulled up Discord next. I don't even remember how I found the invite link. Some buried comment on a pastebin site. Maybe. The server was nearly empty. Just a graveyard of channels with cryptic names. Most were dead silent. But in one channel, someone was still there. Username: null. Me. Did you see it too? Null. Which one? Me. The video. The one that deletes itself. Null. I shouldn't be here. Me, please. I need to know what's happening. Null. You've already made the mistake. Stop digging. Me. I can't. I saw myself. In the video. Null. Then it saw you too. And just like that, they went offline. Account deleted. I stared at the screen, my hands trembling. But I couldn't stop. Hours blurred into days as I chased down scraps of information. I combed through old creepypasta boards, archives of our /nosleep, even defunct YouTube conspiracy channels. At first I thought I was reading fiction, just stories playing with the same urban legend. But the details were too precise, too familiar. One story described a video that ate itself after playback. Another mentioned a folder appearing on the desktop with images of the viewer's room. The oldest thread I could find dated back over a decade, posted on some obscure horror board long before YouTube was even what it is today. And then there were the disappearances. Always the same pattern. Someone posts about the video, swears it's real, shares a few details, and then nothing. Their accounts freeze in time like fossils in digital amber. I started compiling a list. Usernames, post dates, any patterns I could find. I noticed some accounts were connected across different sites, the same handle popping up again and again, chasing the same legend. Like me. And every single one of them went dark. One entry stood out. A user who claimed they'd traced the IP address tied to the folder's files. Their last post read, "It's not coming from YouTube, it's coming from us." Then silence. The more I read, the less I slept. My world shrank to the glow of the monitor, the endless scroll of forgotten warnings. I barely ate. I barely spoke to Eli anymore. What could I even say? That I was chasing a digital ghost? But the worst part wasn't what I found. It was what I almost didn't. Buried in the archives of an abandoned forum, I stumbled across a thread, so degraded it barely loaded. Half the text was corrupted, eaten by time. But one post was still intact. It was short, just a few lines. The video doesn't choose at random. Targets. It learns. It waits. If you're reading this, you were meant to. Watch for your name. My blood went cold. because below that, in faint gray text, was a reply. A username I didn't recognize, but the words, they were clear enough. Has anyone else noticed it spelling my username? I reread it over and over, my pulse hammering. It wasn't possible. That post was dated 3 years ago. 3 years before I ever clicked play. It wasn't random. It wasn't coincidence. The video had been waiting for me. I slammed the laptop shut so hard the screen flickered. For the first time, I felt truly bone-deep afraid. Because this wasn't just some cursed video floating through the ether. This was personal. It knew me. And worse, it had been waiting. I thought I was safe once I stopped digging. I really did. For a few days, I tried to force myself back into routine. Sleeping with the TV on, scrolling harmless content, burying myself in anything normal. But paranoia has a way of staining everything. Even silence started to feel staged. Like the calm before something I couldn't see. The second encounter didn't come like the first. There was no strange thumbnail. No late-night curiosity dragging me into danger. Came in the middle of the day. Sunlight streaming through my blinds, coffee still warm on the desk. My YouTube feed open with harmless video essays. That's when the screen flickered. Once, twice, and then it was just there. The video. No thumbnail this time. No title. Just a black rectangle sitting at the top of my recommended, pulsing like a heartbeat. And before I could move, before I could even breathe, it started playing. No, stop, I hissed, fumbling for the mouse. I didn't click you. But the cursor froze. The trackpad was useless. The keyboard, too. The video rolled on, indifferent to me. Static swallowed the speakers, sharp and violent, filling the room with a teeth-rattling hum. Images bled through the screen in flashes. My apartment, my reflection, my hands reaching toward the laptop, like a mirror stuck on delay, showing me seconds before I moved. I shoved the chair back, heart hammering. Stop. Stop playing. I didn't click you. My own voice sounded small against the storm of noise. The video glitched, warped, and I swear it answered. A distorted voice pushed through the static, fractured syllables forming something almost like words. You watched. I staggered back, knocking into the table. My coffee spilled across the floor, soaking into the rug, but I couldn't look away. My screen was alive, jittering with impossible images. Frames of my street, my neighbors, the stairwell outside my apartment door. And then me, again. Only this time I wasn't sitting at my desk. The image showed me standing in the hallway, frozen mid-step, like the camera had been waiting outside. Couldn't breathe. My whole body locked up as the video sped faster, stuttering between frames too fast to process. My own face appeared again and again, blurred, stretched, screaming silently into the distortion. I lunged forward, slamming the power button. Nothing. The screen burned on, the light searing into my eyes. I yanked the cord from the wall, the laptop went dark, and still, for one impossible second, the image lingered on the dead screen. Then it was gone. I stood there shaking, chest tight, throat raw. My laptop sat silent, lifeless. The apartment was quiet again. Too quiet, like everything was holding its breath. I know what you're thinking. What did I see this time? I wish I could tell you. I really do. But some things don't translate into words. The shapes, the sounds, they bend around language. Trying to describe them would be like trying to hold smoke in your hands. All I can say is that I recognized pieces. My life, fractured and rearranged. My secrets buried in static. And the overwhelming, skin-crawling certainty that it wasn't just showing me the past. It was showing me what was coming. I don't remember shutting down completely. I just remember waking up on the floor hours later. My laptop closed. The sun long gone. The only evidence that it hadn't been a nightmare was the wet coffee stain on the rug and the shaking in my hands. That was the breaking point. I knew I couldn't keep this bottled up. Not anymore. If I didn't say something, if I didn't leave a trace, I'd vanish like the others. So I opened my phone's recorder, hands trembling, voice hoarse, and I started speaking. This is that confession. If you're hearing this, then it means I hit record. It means I didn't let it end with silence like all the others. I don't know how much time I have. I don't even know if this file will last. But I need you to understand. I didn't stumble on that video by accident. Found me. And if you've made it this far, maybe it's found you too. Listen carefully. That first night, I thought it was curiosity. Just me. Scrolling at 3 a.m., chasing shadows like every other insomniac out there. But it wasn't. The video wasn't random. The threads I found, the warnings, the usernames that went dark, they weren't stories. They were people. People like me. People who clicked play when they shouldn't have. And now it's my turn. I've tried deleting the files, wiping drives, even smashing a laptop to pieces. It doesn't matter. The folder comes back. Always with more. Always with something I don't remember seeing before. Sometimes a still frame of me sleeping. Sometimes words I haven't typed yet. And the video, it comes back too. Different every time. Shorter. Hungrier. Like it's eating pieces of me, bit by bit. I know what you're thinking. Why not stop? Why not walk away? Because it doesn't let you. You don't find it once and move on. Once you've seen it, it follows. It waits. It learns. And now I'm leaving this here because maybe, just maybe, someone needs to know before it's too late. If this recording disappears after you watch it, you'll understand. Pause. Breathing quickens. I can hear it now. Not through speakers, not through headphones. In the walls. In the air. Whispering under the hum of the fridge. Hiding in the static between radio stations. It's everywhere. Like the video broke something open and let it bleed into the world. I tried warning Eli. Tried sending him the files. He swears he never got them. He thinks I've lost it. Maybe I have. But then why did I see his name in one of the text logs? Why did the last folder have a picture of him walking home from work? Voice cracks into laughter. Then silence. I shouldn't be laughing. It isn't funny. None of this is funny. But maybe that's the point. Maybe it feeds on fear, and I'm giving it everything it wants. I don't know how long I can keep fighting it. I don't know how long before I vanish like the others. Maybe by the time you hear this, I'll already be gone. But if you're watching, if you're still listening, promise me one thing. Don't look for it. Don't type the words. Don't chase the rumor. Because once you see it, there's no undoing it. Static crackles, voice distorts. Fragments. I shouldn't tell you what I saw in the last clip. But if I don't, you'll think I'm lying. You'll think this is just another story. It wasn't just showing me anymore. It wasn't my room, my reflection, my street. It was you. Distortion deepens, audio glitches. Yes, you. Watching this right now. Don't think I don't see you leaning closer, eyes wide, waiting for the twist. That's how it gets you. That's how it always gets you. Please, please don't let it. Breathing turns frantic. Words cutting in and out. Is here again. I can feel it crawling behind the screen. The folder just popped up. Another one. It knows I'm talking to you. It doesn't like it. The files are multiplying. Faster. Filling my desktop like rot. I can't. Long crackle of static. Muffled voice forcing through. Don't search for it.